Good evening, Western New York. How are you guys doing tonight? We're doing uh, just a short discussion here, given what happened yesterday with Congressman Jacobs' vote against or for. It depends on what second we're talking about it. Um, but we want to talk about it together and see what you guys think about it, and maybe have some comments from some of the people watching. It's kind of a shocking thing that happened. Hunter, can we get Hunter on right away? Hey Kelly, hi Donna Ann, how are you guys doing? Well, we're supposed to have Sandy on tonight too. Sandy, we'll have her on tomorrow maybe, but tonight I have my good friend Hunter's on. Hunter, how you doing?
Howdy. Doing great. Doing great.
So let you give the synopsis for the people at home of what happened and what we're dealing with Congressman Jacobs yesterday.
So I think what sums it up absolutely perfectly was the statement that he put out. It looks like he put that out late last night. I fully support the USPS, and I have every intention of voting in favor of HR 8015, the Delivering for America Act. I made an unfortunate mistake and voted no instead of yes. I will ensure that the congressional record is corrected to reflect my support for this legislation. I mean, just right there, come on, you can't have it both ways. You can't vote no, say you wanted to vote yes, and then make sure it reflects in the congressional record.
What the heck? You have a certain amount of time to change your vote, right?
Right.
He could have changed his vote.
He could have. Apparently, when he was on his way to the airport, he made a call to try to change his vote, and they told him it was too late. I don't know how much of that is true.
Listen, this is not a newcomer. This is a man who was in office for years, right? In legislature for years. You don't go into these votes and just hear the stuff on the first time and just wing it. You read the bill, you come in prepared, and you know what to do. It's not a complicated system. It's a yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down. Has this ever happened in the history of Congress before that we know of?
I mean, Jerry Zremski said it yesterday. In his 31 years of covering politics, he has never seen something like this before.
So the question is, what do you think really happened? Did he really make a mistake, which is troubling, beyond troubling, or did he try to have it both ways like he's done in the past? I mean, this is a man who's a Democrat who became a Republican and now is a Trump supporter. And he voted out a district. People made excuses for that. They said, well, he had justifiable reasons for doing that. It seems like they're always making excuses for this guy, but he's all over the place. So what is the situation? Did he legitimately make this historically epic mistake that's never been done? And if that's true, can we trust him to do anything by himself without his handlers? Or B, is he trying to mislead us? What do you think?
I'm going to have to go with B there. I mean, for people like Chris Jacobs, the goalposts are a constantly moving thing. They come a lot closer every single time they make a gaffe. It's, it was X, this was a mistake. But, just based off of who Chris Jacobs is, I'm going to have to say that he's trying to have it both ways. It's the same as it's always been. It's projecting one thing publicly and then doing another thing privately. And then when those two things don't add up, you say, oops, I made a mistake. I pushed the wrong button. You can't have it both ways, Chris. You just can't.
So I saw the print edition of the Buffalo News. The print edition of the Buffalo News said something to the effect that Jacob sides with Democrats. It didn't have anything about the accidental vote on the cover, which is infuriating. And here's a new headline. I just saw this article. Did you see this new article?
Which one?
McMurray pounces on Jacobs. Poor Chris. I mean, that's the headline. I mean, it's unfathomable to me. I'll read the article. I mean, that's the headline. Poor Chris. Again, poor Chris. Never mind the fact that he spent millions of dollars lying about me, telling the world I sent jobs to China. Again, it's poor Chris. We should feel sorry for him for embarrassing us in front of the whole country after we had multiple GOP leaders embarrass this region. His first big moment in the sun is that he forgets how to vote or something. I mean, I don't even know what happened. So here's the article. If Rep. Chris Jacobs hoped this intended Saturday vote to oppose President Trump and support I haven't read this before, by the way, and support the embattled U.S. Postal Service would quiet his Democratic critics, his off-the-mark voting finger achieved just the opposite. So far, so good. The rookie Republican from Hamburg. How funny is that? From Hamburg. He just moved. Where did he move? I think to Orchard Park, by the way.
Yeah.
He's been in Buffalo his entire life. I don't think he's ever been to half these towns before. Okay, but from Hamburg. He's got the money to buy a $600,000 house overnight. I'm sorry, I don't. Took a beating Sunday from Democratic opponent Nate McMurray and a myriad of social media commentators after first announcing he would vote in favor of the $25 billion Postal Service funding, but then actually voting against it. By the way, in the legislation leading up to this, he always voted against it. He was consistently against it. So if he really was going to vote for it, he had a weird way of showing it. Jacobs figured as one of the 26 Republicans who sided with the Democratic-sponsored measure in a rare Saturday session in August as Trump targets the Postal Service and critics question recent moves by Postmaster General to eliminate substantial overtime and sideline blah, blah, blah. If all had gone right for Jacobs, however, it's a good bet his Democratic opponents would have little room of criticism on Sunday. Instead, his claim of mistakenly hitting the wrong button only fired up McMurray. Poor Chris. Who said he was shocked. Well, who isn't shocked?
Yeah.
Mr.
God
McCarthy?
forbid. God forbid
are you
we
not
hold our
shocked?
elected officials accountable,
Yeah,
right?
God forbid we actually ask this guy to read the bills and understand what he's voting on and go in there and vote correctly. God forbid. I know Chris never had an accountability in anything he's ever done in his entire life, but God forbid. And forget me and him. What does this say to how he represents the people of this district? Are you ever going to be certain he's going to vote on something the correct way? Or that he's not going to lie after the fact if he made another mistake? I mean, honestly, could he operate a cash register? I mean, it's a legitimate question. I said, they're quoting me, if it truly was a mistake, it's mind-boggling and would be historic ineptitude. Would it not? According to Jerry Zaremski, 31 years, he never saw anything like it. How can we ever be confident he will make the vote he wants to make? That's true, right? McMurray also refused to buy Jacobs' explanation that he simply pressed the wrong button. The former Grand Island supervisor who narrowly lost to Jacobs in the June 23 special election, that the paper called a landslide, but now it's finally acknowledging it was narrow, contends the congressman had to face angry leaders if he joined other upstate New York Republicans like Tom Reed, Tom Katko, and Elise Stefanik. Well, he should be facing the voters here that he told he would always support President Trump. How long did that last? 1 month? I mean, the guy, no matter how you look at this, Hunter, it represents how inconsistent, unreliable, wishy-washy this man is. Not to me, to the people of Western New York. A month ago, he said he would always vote with President Trump. So he did that. And now he said he didn't mean to do that? I mean, it's really mind-boggling that anyone would get behind this guy. I mean, his first month is a disaster. Keep, Hunter, go ahead. Am I missing anything?
How are voters? We can hammer on this completely. How are voters supposed to trust anything he does as genuine moving forward here? I mean, even if it was an honest mistake, how are they going to know that he's not going to continue to make those mistakes in the future? If he did this on purpose, how are they supposed to know that he's going to always represent their best interests?
He says he learned from it. He learned from it. He made a mistake and it won't happen again. He learned. He was in the state Senate. True or false?
True.
He was in the state Senate.
This is not his first time voting on a piece of legislation. And I would be quick to learn from my mistakes too. If you Google my name and the first thing that comes up is 8 different articles from 8 different news sources, all talking about the mistake I made last night. I would learn quickly too, Chris.
I can't even believe if anyone buys this explanation, if it is true. Whoa.
What's up?
Whoa. Sorry, I just read something. He added that Rep. Brian Higgins, his Democratic colleague from Western New York, had already called to suggest following the personal explanations route. So, Congressman Higgins, are you doing PR now for Chris Jacobs? Sorry to be astounded by this. I just cannot believe it. I just cannot believe. What do you think of that?
What was that he had given
said
him a call?
Brian Higgins called him and said use the personal explanation route as a justification. And people get mad when I try to say there's too much inside game in Western New York. That's shocking. I can't hide my disappointment when I read stuff like that.
How could you? Right?
It is
when
shocking.
People are supposed to have some sense of ideological loyalty.
I will call Brian tomorrow. And listen, there's been a few incidences like this. I just can't. I mean, people get mad at me when I point it out, and it's hard not to point it out. You can see the frustration on my face, but like, wow. I mean, money talks. Money doesn't talk. I heard someone say this today. Money screams and swears. And wow, it's just like he's consulting with Brian Higgins on PR strategy. Brian, I'm disappointed again. Just like I was disappointed when you did the tour with him, and we're so favorable to it. I mean, listen, it's just not a good look. Okay, it really isn't. And I will have to bring this up with them tomorrow.
In some lighter news, somebody said in the Facebook comments, maybe they will reform voting and allow for a phone a friend.
Wait, maybe you should have mailed his vote. I heard someone say. Boy, oh boy. That's kind of shocking. Anyway, I mean, I don't want to talk about this all night. I just think it's just some people get all the breaks. Some people get all the excuses. Other people not so much. And it's just wild that this happened. And it's indicative of who this person is. I don't think he's up for the job. I think he's in over his head. It doesn't hurt me. Look, no matter what, it's going to hurt the people of Western New York because you don't know where he stands. How can you trust a guy like this?
Right.
He doesn't even know what he's. What another likely scenario is he may have done this and then got out of there, and someone said to him, "You really have to fix this right now. Like because you voted the wrong way." And he's like, "I did? What?" Because he didn't hear about it until he got to the airport. Look, the airport is not exactly right next to the Capitol. That's a considerable amount of time from leaving there, getting to a car, and then getting to the airport. Nobody called him. Nobody noticed. I think they really. I just think they can't. I think his own staff could not believe what he did.
Right. I mean, you got to have a good team around you to be an effective lawmaker in the Capitol. And if it's just further proving that maybe it was an honest mistake and he didn't have a good team around him, how are people supposed to trust him then?
I don't think you can trust him. I think the people of West, I mean, no matter what the Buffalo News does, tries to hide for him or make excuses for him or, hyperly critically sensitive about something I say, people aren't dumb. It's the biggest thing. He might be, but the people are not dumb. And they can see. We have a test. They gave him a test run. When I was running against him for the special, I always said, give me a test. We're giving him a test. He is failing the test massively. And I'm just shocked by it. I really am. Anyway, I want to close this up quick. Any other comments for tonight? Tomorrow we're going to do a little recap of the Republican National Convention, right?
Yep, I am ready to tune in and take some notes. It's going to be an exciting week.
Me too.
Also, tomorrow we got our first inaugural phone bank of the campaign season. That's going to be over. You can sign up for that, mobilize.us/McMurray for Congress. That's FOR, not the number 4. It's going to be awesome. We're trying to make 2,500 phone calls tomorrow. We're going to be doing it from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're talking to people about how they can vote in this upcoming election, trying to make sure that everybody has a plan, whether it's by mail, whether it's early, whether it's on election day. We want to make sure that everybody has a plan and that we can track that plan with them as we get closer to the election and make sure that we're turning out everybody that needs to get out there and vote.
Someone said, "I'm sorry, we're going to be watching the Republican National Convention." I gotta watch. I gotta see what they're saying. I mean, listen, I'm still afraid of what's happening in this country. The Trump boat parades and the swearing and the nonsense. Man, it's going to be a tough 10 weeks. I want everyone out there to prepare themselves right now. What do we do if he truly tries to steal the election? What do we do?
Or moves it or cancels it?
And listen, and let's say he does try to steal the election, and people like Chris suddenly flip flop again. And it's like we're against him, and they're going to try to heal the fact that they justified him for years. Look, he's been robbing this country for years. Even then, I hope they do the right thing, but they still have to be held accountable. All these people that sided with Trump, they cannot hold leadership positions. They have failed to exercise leadership and show leadership, and we got to hold them accountable. We got a lot of work to do. Everyone has to be involved. 10 weeks. Stop talking, get calling, get talking to folks, get those people out to the polls.
Amen.
All right, we're going to stop it right now. We will talk to you soon, okay?
Thanks, Nate.
See you, buddy.